Question 12 says that Oscar drew a rectangle like the one shown on the grid below. Oscar then drew a dilation of the rectangle, and he used the algebraic representation 2/3 x, 2/3 y to explain the scale factor that he used to create the dilation. Based on this information, the coordinates of the dilated figure were... Okay, so we want to know the coordinates. That's the question, and we have our dilation here. So these points, this was his pre-image, were changed using this rule. Okay, so I'm just going to start off by picking a point. I'm not even going to check any of the answers. I'm going to just test one to see if I can come up with a rule on my own. This point is 3, 3. My x and my y were both 3 on this point. Now, the dilation rule was 2/3 x, 2/3 y. So I'm going to change x to 2/3 of my x value. And then my y was also 2/3. Okay? This is going to be my new point. You can take your calculator, wait for it to come back on, and I'm just going to multiply 2/3 times 3. So I like to put my fractions into parentheses instead of having to go to the fraction option. That's just much faster for me. And then I'm going to multiply it by 3. So 2/3 times 3 is 2. So my new x value is 2. And it's the same thing for my y. My y was 3. Multiply it by 2/3. I would have typed the same exact thing in. So this is my new point after the dilation. So I tested this point here, and it's going to now become 2, 2. Now I can go ahead and preview some of my answer options. I see that this one has a 2, 2. But none of the others do. That can either signal a red flag because you think that there should be some trick answers. There may be one that has 2, 2 in it. You may have two answer options that both have 2, 2 so that you have to do more work. Or you could instantly rule out all the other answer choices because you already found the one that contains the point if you're really sure of yourself. But be thorough and go ahead and check another point. We'll choose this one here. This is technically 7.5, 3. All right, so 7.5. I'm going to go ahead and put it in decimal form because that's how I would type it into my calculator. 3. 7.5, 3. I'm going to do the same dilation. I'm going to multiply it by 2/3. There's my point. I already know this one because the y value was the same. It was 3, so doing this in my calculator would give me another 2. Okay, I'm working with this point now. I'm going to make sure that I have that clearly identified for you guys. My other point was 7.5, so I'm going to multiply 2/3 times 7.5. My new x value is 5. Now go back. Look at your answer choices. I see a 5, 2 in this one. However, none of the others have a 5, 2. Some may look like it at first glance. Like this one, I see 5, 2, but we're looking for, that one's actually 2.5, 2. At this point, you could continue by, we checked these two. You could check the others as well, doing the same thing. Plugging in your point, multiplying it by 2/3. This one is 3, 6. So I already did the 3, which is going to be 2. And then I'm going to multiply 6 by 2/3. My new y value would be 4. That one's there. It checks out. And so we check that one as well. And this one is 7.5, 6. We already did 7.5. We got 5. And then we just did 6 for this point. We did 6 times 2/3 and got 4. So 5/4. Just make sure that you're putting your x and your y in the correct order, checking your points, and A is our answer. That is the dilated figure.